Well, hello guys and welcome to my channel. I decided to do another winter video. And I decided this time also to make it with a voiceover and to make it in real time. I hope you will enjoy it. For today I've prepared this cute little painting. It's a beautiful Santa's hat on the snow, but I think we're gonna skip the tree part. I don't think I'm gonna paint that. And I wanted to make it bigger, not in this size, but I want the hat to be maybe 1/2 of our painting. So let's get started with our sketching part. So as I said, I want the hat to be quite big. So, well, I suppose this is maybe the place where it ends, and this is the lower part. So as you can see, I will put the link down in description box for the reference photos, so you can also download it for yourself or open it online and watch the photo while we paint. So as you can see, here it is, the lower part. It's a bit rounded, and this is that part. And I just want to say, as you can see on the reference photo, this is about, well, maybe 1/4 of the entire head, of the top of the head, so keep that in mind when sketching. I did that. This is 1/4, a little bit more than 1/4, so we'll just take down some part. And most of it won't even show later on. So, well, as you could have seen previously in my videos, I'm not removing the razor with my hand because of course we have all oily hands, but with the brush, well, this is actually a cosmetic brush, not a painting brush, but doesn't matter. So this somewhere here would be the top. It's a little bit wonky. You don't have to make it to be perfectly same. And this part is, well, I suppose here it has this stands out, this part, the lower part of the head. Oh, see, I forget that sometimes. This like that. And here we have this going like that here, and we have a large cute little ball here, and this is like that. It goes up, down. This is the inside part, and we have this part going here, so a little bit like this. Well, I hope you can follow me, and well, you can skip the sketching part if you want to and go right to the painting if you want and sketch it yourself. So this is, well, as I said earlier, it doesn't have to be perfect. So as you could have seen, I'm not trying to make anything perfect in my paintings. So because I don't believe in perfect, it's just all this artistic freedom. And we're gonna put our snow, our table, where our hat is, like that. It's also snowy, and this would be our background, and we'll have this distant, well, something happening. This will be the snow, and I think that's it. This is our sketch done, and as I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. So now we're gonna start. Well, as you know, I usually start my paintings with the background, but this time I will start right here and we will pre-wet. I was picking some paint from my palette, so my brush stayed red, but doesn't matter. I will paint it anyway in that red. And I'm using primary red. I will be using primary red. See, I'm just pre-wetting that part of the head, and I'm not pre-wetting that snowflakey, this, how do you say that, this white part of the head, but only the red. And we're gonna use this paint. This is, actually we need this primary. This is mixed in with green for a darker color, and we're just gonna use that primary. Our paper is maybe a little bit too wet. It doesn't matter. And just making that first layer with the primary red. And just be careful that you don't have, I did obviously take a little bit too much water when wetting. It doesn't matter, it will dry, but I would make myself, make my life more easier if I didn't do it, but hey, I don't like to make my life easier. I just wanted to say I'm using, for this painting, I'm using, I don't know again how you pronounce it, Centenaire, I suppose, watercolor paper. And this right now is primary red from Sennelier. But you know, I will list all the materials in the description box, so you will be able to check it out. Again, a little bit more of that primary red, because we really want our head to stand out. And we want to make as little layers as we can to avoid those, well, layering and layering and layering. Because as you know, sometimes that layering can pick up the paint, and I suppose no one wants that. And we're gonna use that a little bit primary red with our green, and for some parts we'll do the details later again, but we just want to make some parts. This is the part where it's darker, we have some dark here. As I said, we will make details later, just to make some parts now, and some here. And there you go, this is our hat for now. So we'll have to leave that to dry, or dry it. Just a second, I have some paint here, pick that up. So for that, I'm using my fan, so I will skip this part and come back when it's dried. Well, now that this is dried, when I dried it, I actually got some cauliflower effect, but I really liked it. Even though I was drying it with my hair dryer, it turned out to have this cauliflower effect. It won't probably show when we finish it, but you know, I actually like it here. So next thing we're gonna do is paint our background, and for the background we're gonna use some ultramarine. I will turn around this. We will use some ultramarine, and I just want to say we won't be using any dark colors. You just want that background to be really light, and I am going to pre-wet it, but just slightly. this part. Not as much as I did my hat. I will be careful not to make that so. See, my hat is just bleeding into that, even though it's dry. I suppose that color can bleed, and afterwards it doesn't matter. It's wool hat, so it does have that part that's just, I want to bug with that. So as I said, some ultramarine I'm gonna place here, just lightly, here, some here and there, more here and there. You know, it will dry, as you know, lighter, so we do have to make it a little bit darker at the start. And like that. Maybe some here. And then we're going to use that sepia, or also light. It will form this gray color, but that is fine. Distance and some sepia here. Just a second, picking up. See here, and maybe some here where we have our bleeds. And I'm going to use also a little bit of burnt sienna. This is White Nights burnt sienna. And place it in some parts here. Make maybe an impression of a building. Just in a distance. And again, just a little bit of that ultramarine we have now lost. And I think that would be maybe just a little bit of sepia. And as you can see, I'm using pretty large brush. Maybe you can use a smaller one. This one takes a lot of water, so it can create problems, you know, if you're not sure. But you know, don't be bothered with that. Just try to enjoy yourself. There you go. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take that a little bit of white gouache I'll have here, and I will just, well, sprinkle it a little here, because now when it's wet, I think it will make a more beautiful effect. I did not try to paint this one. You know, I usually never do that. I usually never paint my paintings before I make a video about them. I noticed a lot of people does, but I've actually never done that. I'm just learning also as we go and get ideas as we go. Because, you know, I don't know, I just don't like to paint the same painting twice, I suppose. Well, you can see in my channel, and if you follow me on Instagram, that all of my paintings are pretty much very different. And I like that. I like making challenges for myself, and when I like something, I paint it. When I don't like it, I don't paint it. And well, I suppose I just don't like to paint the same painting twice. I have to change something, and when the thing is like that, I suppose it's not the right thing to, you know, make first try, second try. And now we're gonna do some here and there. We have some shadows here from this hat. Push some paint here up, upwards. You know, you can do that like this, just to push it in that part. You know, like that, and rinse our brush and just make a little bit here of that blue. And I don't even mind if my red bleeds here, because you know, it just needs to create that, I suppose, well, reflection. So I will maybe do that on purpose, just let it bleed here. And when I look at my reference photo, I'm noticing there also this red part, so I will do that. And I suppose I'm gonna again do this to make my color, you know, get the here for the shadow. And again, we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna use a little bit of that white gouache, and as you can see here, we lost that white gouache, and we're gonna sprinkle it a little bit more. You know, you should be doing it while the, well, not the paint, not completely dry, but a little bit dried, because then it stays when it's very wet, just it blends with the color. So like that. And you know what, I will do this edge a little bit more. I don't want my pencil to be visible, so I'm just adding some parts here, and maybe some darkening this part, a shadow again, and I think that would be nice. And now again, you know what, I'm sorry, that was me hitting my stand. I will just dry this part a little bit, just a little bit, not completely. And now I will again take that white gouache and sprinkle it, because I think it will be like that, will be more visible. We'll do sprinkles later, but this is just something we want to blend with our background color. And so there you go. You know what I'm gonna do right here? I'm gonna add a little bit more of that sepia, because you know, I want some parts to be a little bit grayish, not so vibrantly ultramarine. So I'm just placing here and there some sepia, you know, to make it a little bit grayish. And I think that's it. I won't do anything more here. And this part is not really dry, so we'll have to leave it to dry. I'm seeing some here, even though that's not a bad thing. I just want to, you know, I don't want this harsh edges in this painting, so I will try to soften them a bit. And there you go. And what I'm gonna do, one more thing, is here again mix that sepia and ultramarine. And this brush now is not so wet. I'm gonna try to make maybe some, you know, lights and shadows for a snow here, and some darker part. that's it. We'll just leave that to dry and we'll come back. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, before we go, I just noticed that I do want that white again because I lost it. So I will sprinkle some white gouache. And I think that is for now. Okay, we'll get back. Well, now that this is also dry, I want to do something. I think this edge is too harsh, so I will just soften it. I'm using a flat brush and I'm just softening that edge. Something like picking up the paint, but not really. Just with a little bit of water. See how easily you can, soften that. I found it to be a little bit too harsh, and I'm going to make maybe a little bit more definition here. So this is not really anything particular painting. I'm just do some, so I will also wet that again. Background, and I'll make, again, don't make it too wet. And I'm gonna again use Ultramarine. I think we lost the definition. Their colors just got too, I suppose they were too blended. And this time I'm gonna use a little bit smaller brush. It's just to try to make the definition, to make that background that do look like some buildings are there. See, like that. Not really painting any particular background, just making those impressions that there are some buildings here. And I think that would be fine. Just some here. Maybe one here. And there you go. This is completely dry. And as you can see, we lost here also our white sprinkles. They're just barely visible. And what I want to do is, since we need to get going with our hat, I will just dry that. I dried that, and now we're gonna make some more definition to our hat. And first we're gonna do the lower part, and this time I won't be wetting the whole paper, but this part that it's down. And I will be using a smaller brush, and also don't use too much water, because you can pick up the paint. And I will turn around, get that primary red. Well, this paint picks up so easily. Those Senneliers are, I'm not using them for a long time. Actually got them just recently, so I'm still learning. I'm not very familiar with them, and as I can see, white nights also can be picked up, but Senneliers are quite more, they are so much more pickable. I don't know how to call that. I can pick them a lot easier than white nights, so that is, Well, I suppose a good thing to know if you're thinking of getting them. I'm not sure. Maybe you have Sennelier and you're thinking to get some white knights. Well, I can tell you that those Sennelier colors can be picked up from the paper a lot easier than white knights. See, I'm just also doing these strokes where I just follow the path of my shadow. And as I said, this is primary red mixed in with the green to get the darker color. You know, you mix complementary colors to get the darker shade of the color you already are using. You know, that is the best way to get that darker. You don't have to take a black or just use the darker shade of your color mixed with her complementary color, and you'll get that, I suppose, darker tone. Paper already started to dry. So this is this part, and I'm also going to use here a little bit of sepia, because this part is, as you can see on our reference photo, pretty dark, just next to our crease. There you go, just a little bit more of that mix. I'm gonna mix it again. So this is my primary red, and this is my green. It's actually Hooker's green, and a little bit more of primary red. And I'm not rushing because I want this to dry a little bit. These are our creases, like that, and here. Like that, and like that. Going down, some here, darker, and I think that's it for this part. Again, we need to dry it. I dried this one, and as you can see, I didn't use actually any other color, just that primary red and her complementary color green, and some sepia for this part where the darkest part is, because, you know, there is, you can see in the reference photo, maybe some that would be quinacridone rose or magenta, but I just didn't want to mix that in. I just wanted to keep that red and with no other colors, and I don't want to complicate things also. I just want to keep them simple and not make this drawing, this painting so realistic, but just, you know, make that cute little hat. So that's it, and now we're gonna use again a little bit smaller brush, and that mix of red and Hooker's green. We see that there is just this part here in that darker color. I need to mix some more. Just, you know, mix enough color. I always have that problem. I always just mix, well, too small amount of the color, and I always miss some color. Here we have some crease, and like that. This is where suppose, meet our different parts of our head. We have this crease here. You know, we will be left here with the, so I'm gonna get that. We're gonna be left here with that, well, I suppose, part or paint smudge. Again, that mix, I'm mixing darker shadow shade, my color. This parts where our shadows are. So we're gonna add that color here, that darker. And I suppose nothing much more. Just as I said, we don't want to be any specifically specific. Just here. Oh, sorry. My voice is, I'm not sure what's going on with it. And I'm gonna make some here, like strokes in the direction of our creases. You know, just can't, I'm really sorry, I don't get that. See, that is the problem. Maybe I should have, you know, tried this before. I'm trying to make those darker parts and just, I will have to use Sepia in the end to make the darkest parts. And here our shadows are. So I think that is it. That is it. Maybe just a little bit here. And I think we'll try that. I want to put some here in this, well, this part. Just, I don't want those two to touch, so I'm gonna avoid that, but I want to add a little bit here, just some all darker in this corner part. Again, a little bit more darker, and there you go. That's it. Now we're gonna dry that. So this is our paint here dried, and next thing we're gonna do, we are going to paint this part, which is, I guess, very dark, and I'm gonna use Sepia for that with a little bit of that red, because I want to have that red in it. So I did not pre-wet this time, just using slightly wet brush and painting in that part where our crease is and where that dark shadow is. And I am going to, well, just let that go a little bit in a thin line here also. There. And I think that is it for a hat. I'm not gonna do nothing else to the hat, and we're gonna do this part right now. Just again pre-wet it. And for that we are going to use, we can also just this little bolly, also pre-wet that. Just, you know, be careful not to use too much water. And if you do, just pick that water up. And we're gonna use also ultramarine. And just a little bit mixed with that red. We're gonna use for the lower part where our hat is placed on the table. Like that. For that lower part. And, well, I guess that ultramarine. Very light ultramarine. We're gonna do here. Just again, be careful not to use, and just don't place it everywhere. You know, just leave that a little bit of that white space. And after doing that, just gonna a little bit here again in the corners. There you go. And just a little bit more of that ultramarine. You know, when it's drying, you'll know, just drying so much lighter. This is the darkest part. And some here. Just let it bleed. In this case, we just want those bleeds because they're gonna make our, I don't know, that's just this furry thing, like believable. And you know what we're gonna do here? We're gonna make some circle around this little bolly of ours. You know, so the paint bleeds out a little bit. To make that impression for like that. And just we can do that. We don't have any paint here to pick. So a little bit of that red, as we said, mixed in to get a darker value, or a little bit, you know, violet. See, we have now bleeds here now, which are gonna make our furry thing look like a furry thing. And that's it for now. We're gonna just leave that again to dry and we'll come back. Well, now after this little thingy completely dried, well, we're gonna wet it again and just slightly, in our little ball of fur, and we are going to use white gouache. I have some white gouache here, but I think we will have to use fresh one, maybe not, we'll see. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna just, do this. Let that white gouache bleed into our paint. Some here, some there. And that will also make the perfect impression of our fur. It just seems to me that I did not wet enough some parts. I didn't want it to wet too much, so I suppose some parts dried pretty fast. And some here. And you have to, well, I guess use a lot of water with your white gouache when you're doing this, because if you don't, it won't spread. And again, we'll go back here. And there you go. I'm not gonna do that anymore, but I'm gonna use a script brush. See, my script brush is all pretty damaged. I love that brush. I'm not sure I'm gonna find the same. So we're gonna put here some white gouache and use that white gouache. Well, this time we don't use a lot of water, and we're gonna just make that lines mimicking a fur. And this will be a longer process. So just do them as fast as you can, and just don't bug yourself to make them everywhere. They don't need to be everywhere. Just some parts to, to make it believable, I would say. It doesn't have to be everywhere. And make it in all directions, because then it's just, it looks more believable. And here from the lower part of her hat also, they're just those little, I suppose, hairs, fur like hairs going. And also just make it in all directions. Some are smaller, some are longer. They're just going in all directions. here some, they're gonna be, well, I suppose less visible here, but nevertheless, just make a couple of them. Just making that fuzzy look, the edges. You know, I love my script brush. I just use it, I suppose, anywhere. And this time I'm gonna use the side of my brush to make, I suppose, a couple more. And there you go. Now there is just one thing left to do, and for that I'm gonna use this brush, just a little bit of water in it. It has to stay pretty hard, but you know, it has to be able to make those sprinkles also. Just can't see my sprinkle here some water, so I don't have to dip my brush. There you go, like that. And now we're just gonna sprinkle everywhere. And since our background is not dark, I'm not sure how much you can see, but this is just the first, how should I say, the first layer of sprinkles. It's not the first layer, but we will be using our different brush to make some bigger splashes. Here, see? Just add a little bit splashes to make that furry look to it. And now we're going to use this brush also, you know, that is my go-to brush for sprinkles. I don't know why, I just like the sprinkles. Oh, I should maybe close my palette. All my colors are contaminated with white sprinkles. And see, I want a larger one also, because you know, they would look like more like snow. And all my clothes is also contaminated. My hands, my eyes, everything. Just be careful not to go into your eyes. Here's some sprinkles and some more on the hat. And well, I think that could be it. I think we could just call that finished. I don't really want to do nothing much to it anymore. Maybe just, you know, there's just always this maybe. You probably noticed that. with me. I just always like to add one more thing, and just maybe this couple of larger, you know, and I want to do just maybe some couple of hairs. There you go. That's it. Now we're really done. There's just only left for us to take off the washi tape. I'm always using washi tape, you know, because I just can't find any other tape that won't rip my paper. Every other that I got just ripped my paper. And that's it. Now I'm going to sign it in the corner. And we're done. I will have to remember not to write 19 very soon. So that is it. That is our Santa hat finished. I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked this painting. You enjoyed painting it. If you did, paint it with me. I assure you it was very fun and interesting. And if you did, thank you. And if you didn't, do it. Why not? It's fun, it's enjoyable. And anyway, I hope you liked this video. And if you did, please hit the like button. If you haven't still, subscribe to my channel, share this video, comment, and well, I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!